Hi everyone, my name is Drew from Micah, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys about quoting things and paraphrasing things and knowing the difference between the two. Uh, so what is a quote? A quote's an exact copy of an original text. It gives credibility and serves as evidence to your paper. When quoting, you want to choose quotations wisely, making sure that what's in there is important and that it fits the context of your paper. You want to surround every quote with a frame, um, just meaning that you want to explain where it comes from and then explain what the quote means afterwards. And the same thing, never leave dangling quotations, which is not explaining a quote afterwards. Uh, and when quoting things, quoting what they said must always be connected with what you say. Quotation issues: quoting too little, which lacks credibility; over quoting, which loses your own voice, making all their words; and then assuming that quotations speak for themselves. Just because you know what the quote means and is saying doesn't mean all your readers will. So now on to paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is putting the ideas of an author into your own words, summarizing what they're saying. It helps the quality of your paper, improves flow, and improves the readability. Important things and tips. The statement must be in your own words. Place quotations around any original quote. You want to cite your source always. And if you're ever having a difficult time paraphrasing, a good tip is to make a list of all the author's main points, and that'll help you out to get started. So here we have, so this is a direct quote which comes from an article in the New York Times discussing the relocation and redevelopment of a train station in New York City. After reading the paraphrase, you can notice that it's in its own words and writing style, but still reflects the same ideas as the original quote. There's also a citation, and the term underground purgatory is in quotes because it's a unique phrase from the original quote. Now on to this example, which is a poor paraphrase with the same quote. You will notice that this is very similar to the original quote and does not flow well. Also, the term civic hub should be in quotations because it's a unique phrase, but here it's not. The last thing we notice is that there's no citation, and you should always have a citation. And then there's patching, or patch writing, which is a careless form of paraphrasing. It's when you patch direct quotes or information together that are too close to the source while adding some of your own words. This usually occurs when the reader is unfamiliar with the language in a text. Patch writing, it may be used during drafts, but never to be used in a final copy. And then paraphrasing for a response paper. Too much paraphrasing in a response loses your voice. You need to balance what the original author is saying with your own focus, and try to see their argument from their perspective, not being biased. You want to represent their view accurately, and then after you do that, you can put your 2 cents in and disagree or agree. And then on to what's the best way to combine the two, quoting versus paraphrasing, using them together. Well, you always want to paraphrase while you can, but you want to add quotations, and the quotations should be the most important information, stuff that you can't say any better than they did, followed by explaining what the quote means and then paraphrasing the rest. So that's the most efficient way to write. There's one exception, which is a literary analysis. And then the last thing is how to introduce your paraphrase. What's the best way to do that? You want to avoid terms like he says, or she believes, because these are just bland terms. You need to have description to your terms. You want to use accurate terms like she argues and he observes. These give a lively description. So after this mini lesson I just gave you guys, I hope you guys know
Created using Powtoon.